Thank you very much, guys. The session is being recorded and will be placed on our website in 2 working days. I hand it over to Kavi now. Sibu, can you check and make sure that whoever is joining, if there are people in the lobby that you add them, and I'll be hopping in and off. Thank you, guys.
Okay, do you see my screen, Ahmed?
Yeah, we can see your screen. Thank you.
All right. Okay, superb. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kavi Beesoon, and I am from the Oracle Product Development Team, more specifically from the Maximum Availability and Architecture and the Rackback team. Right. Today, I'm going to present to you the logical migration of a database from your on-premise to Oracle Autonomous Database. Right. And so we will just, as it was proposed by Ahmed, we won't be going through PowerPoint slides and so on. We'll just go straight and do it right away in front of you in a kind of a workshop style, so that it's easy for you to grasp and then you can carry on, right? Okay, so I will just open up the document that will be following up today, and then we'll just follow on that, and then we can carry on that one. Zdm. All right. So the main suite that we'll be using today is Oracle Zero Downtime Migration. It's a new tool that Oracle has developed to facilitate users to migrate onto the cloud. We do have the new version that helps in migrating on-premise to on-premises as well, as you can see on the slide here. But this is the main goal for this was to facilitate moving from the on-premise to the cloud, right? So this is the document that we'll be following. All right, let me just a bit maximize that. Okay, so Oracle customers are moving their Oracle workloads into the cloud or onto engineered system as a very rapid pace. So, however, migrating workloads has been a source of challenges for many years. In particular, migrating the database workload from one system to onto the cloud. It's just easier said than done, right? So based on the years of experience migrating Oracle workload, Oracle has developed the ZDM, Oracle Downtime Migration, and it's Oracle's premier solution for a simplified and automated migration experience, providing zero to negligible downtime for the production system. And depending on the migration scenario, you have the ZDM will allow you to directly and seamlessly migrate your on-premises Oracle database to and between Oracle owned infrastructure, including Exadata database machine, on-premises, your cloud at customer, your Exa at cloud at customer, your Oracle OCI, example, like we will be doing today, the autonomous database, right? And it supports a wide range of Oracle versions, as the name implies, and shows minimal to no production database impact. Okay, I'll just go quickly to the slide where we see the one that we'll be following today. All right. I will share this link to you later. Oh, let me just bring it to the chat here. Right. So you can follow up at the same time. Okay. So what is going to happen today with this presentation, as you can see here, you have the cloud on the right here, which is the OCI. It can be a database service, right? It can be an exa cloud service. It can be an exa CC as well as an autonomous. So today we will be doing the autonomous, right? And then on the left, you have your on-premise, your own database where which will be the source. And then we will set up a Zdm host, that is for the host where the Zdm will be installed. And since this is an online logical, we will set up a Golden Gate hub as well, right? So once all this is done, we will download the Zdm. We start the migration based on the steps you see on the right here. And then what Zdm will do, it will connect to the source and the target, and we'll also set up a backup location where your Zdm will export the data onto the cloud environment, right? So it will connect to that. And then the Zdm will configure the Golden Gate and capture the source transaction. This, once it's done, it will export the data pump from the source to the backup location, import it into the target, configure the Golden Gate and start applying the changes, and then do the final switch over whereby your database will be completely moved onto the cloud, to the autonomous database. Right, like I mentioned previously, this guide, in this document, you have most of the information about the Zdm, the supported configuration. As you can see, you can move your database from 11.204 even up from to 21C onto the cloud, right? So and what happens as well is you can the Zdm does an upgrade at the same time while it's migrating when you do it mostly when with a online migration. Okay, so let me go quickly on this document and then we can start with the workshop. Right, okay, so we'll see the contents of this here. All right, so what we'll be doing, we'll create a zero downtime migration host. We'll set it up. We'll set up the source database for the Zdm host to connect to it, right? We'll create a new autonomous database, ATP in this case. And then we'll set up the connectivity. We'll create the backup location. Finally, we'll set up the response file and run the Zdm. First of all, we'll run it into an evaluation mode. If in case you have errors, you can just go and fix. It will just give you a pre mode, like what is going on, what you need to fix. And once everything is completed successfully, you can just run the database migration and finalize it, right? Okay. What else? For those who are not aware of they are new to an Oracle Autonomous Database, I'll just share this link as well. You can have a look. It's a database which is fully automated database service, that makes it easy for all organizations to develop and deploy application workloads, regardless to complexity, scale, or criticality, right? So what is just in brief, why you choose autonomous is it is self-driving, right? You don't need to go and do any performance tuning. It just automatically does its tuning, its provisioning, and scaling. You don't need to patch that one as well. Once you're on autonomous, all the patches and your security fixes are all applied automatically, right? You don't need to do that. Even if you have any system failures or user errors, you just get this fixed automatically by using standby or zero data loss services. Okay, so Let me open it. We'll start with a cloud session, right? We'll start the cloud. Okay, so the purpose of this document here, I'm just following this up to the letter. So what we'll have, this brief, it is a step-by-step guide for migrating your on-premise. All right, so we will be using your on-premise in this environment. We will be using a demo which is on the cloud itself, right? Just to demo it to you, but in the end, it will just act as a normal database which is on-premise. Right. So we're still following this document, right? All right, so I have set up already one server. With this workshop 21 will be acting as our on-premise, and we will create the rest after that, but we still need to set this up. So in the cloud, you have the cloud shell, right? As you can see, this server is our on-premise server that is created. So I'm just gonna connect to this server. Let's see if maybe it will be easier. Just follow up on this for you to see, right? So we will be creating the migration, the downtime migration host service to start with. So what we'll do, once we're on the shell, we need to create the keys, right? I have two set of keys here that I have created. You can also create them using, we'll just follow that, right? This is the actual way of doing it. So what happens is it will ask you for a passphrase. You just choose enter, and then the keys are created. So we have two new keys, as you can see here, the new and the public key. So we basically be using the public key is the key that you copy to the server that you'll be connecting, and then the private key is the key that stays on your on-premise for it to interact with the private key, public key, sorry. Okay, so what I've done, since I've already created the workshop one, I have already copied the public key to that one. So I'll be using the cloud shell, this one that I have already created. Okay, so I will connect to the IP and set up the environment. Okay, so we are here, and I have set up a database as well, which is on the server. The database is called ORCL, right? So let's see, this is your actual database. Okay, I will go to that part where it says setting up the database server, right? The source database, right? Okay, so you need to make sure that your database, if it is on the depending on the release that you are, to make sure you have the right patches based on the documents, right? And once you have that, then you can carry on with the database setup, right? So you need to make sure force login is enabled, the database is in archive log mode, and there are a couple of parameters that you need to set up. So let's see that. Let's do that, right? All right, so you see the database is not archive enabled, right? Okay, so we're going to shut down. Right, so we'll select whether the supplemental log is set up as well, and then we'll change all of them. Okay, so this is not set up. Right, let me just change this here. So we'll just add that part. Right, this is done. We need to set force login onto the database. Before that, we need to shut down the database to put it on archive log. That is one of the prereqs. Okay, database is now in archive log mode. Right. Right, that is set. This parameter also need to be set for your golden gate. Right, this is false, so we'll just set it. Right. So that is set to true. So in the source database, we'll have to create a golden gate administration user and grant all the permissions. So we'll have to run this all these scripts as well. I have them here, so I can just copy paste them quickly. Right. You can see the user, the main user was created for the Golden Gate admin, right? And we granted all the privileges and roles that is needed for it to execute the Golden Gate task, right? So that is done. Okay, that part is done, right? So we'll just switch to the then create the rest for the pluggable database. All right, it's done. So we'll have to create a ZDM user as well while at the time of for setting up the ZDM host. In this case here, I am using the same host for the on-premise database and the ZDM as well. Right, so we'll set up the ZDM on the same host here. Let's create a user internal to that one. So since the database is empty, I will just create this user and create its own data here. Right. And then we'll connect as the user and populate the database. This is a script that I've created just to load the data, right? For you won't have to do that because you will have your data anyway since you're doing the migration. Right, so I've just populated the database here with 1,000 rows. This is what we'll be migrating onto the autonomous database. Right, so we just can have a quick look at the data that is there. So, okay, we have data, right? So the next step will be, we will provision the ZDM host. Okay, before that, let's go and see, let's create an ATP database onto the cloud, right? Okay, so to create the ATP, you come to the menu, Oracle database, autonomous database, right? You select that. And then what you need to do is you click on autonomous and start creating your database. So here you can see there are some databases that I have created already, and you have a state where you can see those databases are already up. This list is specifically for the autonomous database. You can stop your database, you can shut down, and you can see whether it's created as dedicated or no onto onto the cloud. Right, so the state gives you whether it's available or it's down or it's running or it's terminated. Right, so let's create a new one. We will call it one. You will see how easy it is to create an autonomous database and how fast, right? So we will choose a transaction processing, a small one here. A shared infrastructure database will be configured on 19C, right? We'll use, can choose the CPU count and the storage. And then I will provide a password. So we'll use the same password everywhere. So for the final, when we do the migration, it will be easy to control with the same password, but you can choose your own. Right here, I'm just using the same welcome password. Secure access from everywhere. Okay, I'll use bring my own, your own license. We can just give an email here, right? And then what we missed, right? So name, here I'm creating it into my compartment where I have access to, right? And then I think we're done. So you can just create an autonomous database. Right, so while this in process, you can see it is provisioning, right? And it gives you all the details here. We have the OCI ID, that is the unique ID for while it is on the OCI for this particular database. And it gives you all the details for storage, the instance type, etc. Right, that you require. Most of the information are here. Okay, so while it's creating that, right, this is still provisioning. So we can just move on our next step in the meantime while it does that, right? Target database. This is our target, right? It's all in your documents on that link. Okay, so it's done, right? The database is available. We come here. You can see it's available. I can click on it, right? I can connect on the DB actions, and then I can start using the database. It's ready, right? So what we have is already we have our source database, which is our source database and server, which is here on which is supposed to be our on-premise. We have our ATP. So now we're going to set up the zero downtime host, which will be running on the same environment as well for this one. Right, so let's see. Okay, let's set up the Golden Gate hub first, and then we just can complete with that one. All right, so what I've done here, I have created I built a stack here so that we don't need to install and run everything from scratch. So you can just do the same from Oracle. You can come here to the marketplace, and then you can choose from all application. You have this for your migration. This setup is free for if you're using this Golden Gate that is created here on Terraform, right? So you can use this one. migration. Okay, this one is free, right? This is the one. So we will use that to build our Golden Gate Hub, right? As you can see, it's free. So we'll just launch this stack. Okay, we can call it right. All right, so next I'll set it up first. Okay, so let's call it this with this name, OGG 19C Aura, and I'm going to choose my network that I already created. So we'll use this one, lab. I've created a subnet as well for this one. Availability domain, we'll just go with the first one. Let's build a bigger one here. Right. Next. We'll get it to assign a public IP. Okay, so our source is already on the latest week. The HTTP will, the target will be 19C as well. Okay, so that was workshop 01, I think we created, right? Okay, so we'll just paste the public key that we generated earlier that I showed you. So I'll use the same key that I've already set up. Right, that will be we copy that here. Okay. Just a quick recap here to see if everything is filled. Next. Okay, so that stack is created. I can just create it, or I can unselect this, create it first. Right. And I can just apply to create it now. All right, so it should not take long. Okay, so basically this will be our, if we come back to our our document here, just to put all the puzzles together now, that maybe it's becoming a bit clearer. I'll come to our first page, right? As you can see, what we have achieved so far is, okay, we have generated, this is supposed to be here, your on-premise database, right? We have just generated one because it was not available. And then we have created, we maximize this a bit, right? we have created our autonomous database, which is also here now, right? We have built, it's in process. We're building the Golden Gate Hub. We will set up the extract and for the extract and the replicate for both of them for those two databases. And then we will have to set up, we still have to set up the backup location. All right. So we are here on the Gateway Hub that we're currently doing. Let's see if it's correct. Oh no, it's failed. So let's see why. Okay, so I will skip this one because I don't have, I have one already created earlier, so I might need to delete that, or we can just use it. Okay, I might have to delete this one. Okay, while it's doing it. So compute stack, right? Well, maybe I should edit this and create a smaller server. Okay, let's hope we can get this sorted out now. In the meantime, what we can do, we can go onto the server and set up this part here, which is the ZDM, right? So let's see the steps to set up your ZDM host. Right, so we will have to make sure the Linux host is or running on Oracle 7 or higher. You have enough space. There's a group and a user as part of this group. We'll create them, right? You have the following packages installed. And then, right, you have all the host and IP must be set in the etc host file, right? So let's see. Compute instances. Okay, the one we created here is this one. So we'll connect to this one, 16, right? And set up the Zdm host here. All right. So as the OPC user, we'll create the Zdm host. All right. So let me just run those commands. I have just saved them. Right. Okay. So the user is created. We can just check if this the CLI is installed You can just paste that to check, right? If it's there, it will, if it's not there, it will install it, right? And then we just need to go and download the ZDM for setting it up. So this is the link. All right, you can just click on download. And then you just need to log in to download that one. I've already done that. I will just paste it for you, the link for you guys to see, right? For the download. Okay, so the package is not there, so it will install it. In the meantime, we can just go and check if our Golden Gate hub is created. Okay, there it is. That was created successfully. Right. So as we can see, we have, it is created on the same, like we, as I have defined for the virtual network, it has a private IP and a public IP, right? So this is the new public IP that we have for this one. And since I have pasted the public key for that one, we do have it already. We should be able to connect to this one from the Cloud Shell, right? Okay, so let's see this one. The Python CLI is installed. We need to install ZDM, right? And I have installed it, I think, here. Let's get into the. Okay, so this is the one that the 21.2 was the previous one. The new one is this zip here, which is the 21.3, right? So we'll just follow that and just copy this. All right, so the ZDM is unzipped, right? We just need to install it now. So I'm just all the path already set up. So I'm just copying and pasting it as well here. Let's check it out. So the Oracle home will be that home, right? The base and the ziploc is where I have sent that one. Okay, so let it run. Okay, so okay, so I'm going to install that. What is this? Zdm install. Setup is this one. The ziplock. Okay, so the path is not correct, right? We need to change that. Is this? Oh man. Okay, it's there. Right. Paste that. Okay, so while this is unzipping for the ZDM, we can just quickly check for our Golden Gate hub, right? Okay, we need to wait for this anyway. But what I can do here is we can check if it's working, right? HTTPS IP. Right, we have to accept all this. All right, but I won't be able to connect because we need to have the password. Right, so we'll wait for this to finish here. Ahmed, are you still there?
No, he's not here.
Okay. So what we'll have to do is, if I think we'll have to stop in between because we have, as per schedule, we have only 10 minutes left, right? So what you can do is we will continue the next session in the next session. So you have to send the invite again because this is only part one, right? So if you have any questions from the participants, all the questions are welcome. You can just forward them to me. Is it Sibo?
Yes, Kavi, it's me.
Yeah, okay. So you can send those to me after we're done, right? You can just, then we can address all the questions in the next session, right? Okay, for now, what we have here is we come back to our, so the ZDM is installed. We need to start it up, right? The service needs to be started up. So let me do that before we go on to Golden Gate hub, right? All right, so here we just need to start the service. ZDM service. First time it's created, so it won't be started. We can just check the status as well for an idea. Right, you see running is false. Got it. So you can ignore those errors. It's just some warnings there in that version. Okay, so it started with return code 0, so it means no errors. Have a look. Okay, so it's running, right? So the ZDM is set up. So now we'll set up the rest. So let's have a look at the Golden Gate as to see if everything is working, and then we can stop here for today, right? Okay, quickly. Where's the IP? This is the IP. Okay, so I'm connected. As you can see, this is our OGG9C Aura. This is our server for the Golden Gate Hub. And there is a file that is created here, right? When you run it on your environment as well, if you select that Terraform file, you will have copy same environment, same files, right? As you can see here, we have a password here, right? So what I suggest is, like I said, we just need to, let's change the password when you connect to your Golden Gate Hub, right? So we'll use this password here. You have services already running, so that's fine. We can just come to the administrator, change the password, right? We'll set it up as the same one as we have been using for system and everything, all of the others. Right. So we'll just sign you out. And you can just sign in again. Right, so that's done. Oh man.
Don't you have to type in the username first, Kavi?
Yeah, sorry, I was not doing that. Okay, right, so we have done that. The password is changed. You can change the password for the extract as well. Right. Oh, sorry, it's here. Copy. Okay, so we're running almost, we're done. So at least if we can just set that one up and then we are done. Right, so we'll do the same for the extract as well for this one. Is it this one, right? And then, so just to recap quickly before we stop for today, where is it? Right, so we're here, we're still with our diagram here. And so the Golden Gate Hub is set up, right? Our ZDM is set up and started. We have our autonomous created. We have your on-premise. So as you can see, in 1 hour, we already there. You have you have your on-premise database, and you have already set up all these different components. We will have to set up the backup location in next session, and then What is left for us to do is just to run the script to do the testing and then just migrate the server, right? So we still have a couple of steps to do after that. So this is it for today. And I know I'm not asking you for to send your questions. We don't have time, so we can just address them in the next session. All right, Sibo, up to you now. I think you can
Thank you, Kavi, for your time. We will schedule a second session, maybe early next month in the first week of May. Guys, if you guys have any questions, please forward them through to me, and I will then forward it through to Kavi. Thank you very much for attending, and hope to see you for the session 2. Thank you, Kavi, for your time as well.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.